the F-16 Fighting Falcon. To the public, it's the icon of American air power, the sleek, agile Viper that has dominated the skies for 50 years. Ask any historian, and they'll rightly credit its existence to John Boyd and the fighter mafia, who shoved aside the bureaucratic preference for massive, expensive interceptors to build a dogfighter around the revolutionary concept of energy maneuverability. But there's a second half to that story. A less glamorous reality that has followed the F-16 from its very first test flights to the present day. We are told the F-16 is a legend. What is often ignored is the price of that legend. The F-16 was designed to be a low-cost, lightweight complement to the F-15 Eagle. And in that quest for affordability and performance, specific, critical compromises were made. Compromises that have resulted in an accident rate that is not just statistically notable, but historically problematic. After 45 years of service, over 770 F-16s have been destroyed in accidents. That's nearly 17% of every airframe ever built. For context, that loss rate is nearly double that of the F-15, its heavy twin-engine counterpart. This isn't just about worn-out parts or pilot error. It's about an Achilles heel that has been baked into the jet from the drawing board, a vulnerability that becomes more dangerous as we push the platform to do things its original architects never intended. This brings us to the most damning indictment of the F-16's current state, the absence of the Automatic Ground Collision Avoidance System, or AUTO-GCAS. This is a digital safety net. If the pilot is unconscious or disoriented, the system takes control and automatically pulls the jet away from the ground. It has been proven to save aircraft and lives, and yet entire fleets of advanced F-16V models are flying without it. Why? Because the integration is technically difficult. The newer digital AUTO-GCAS systems were designed for the digital flight control computers of later F-16C and D models. They do not easily talk to the analog flight control systems of the older A models that form the backbone of many international fleets. So, for years, pilots have been flying high-performance, low-observation missions over water, at night, in jets with potentially glitching computers, without the one system designed to save them from that exact scenario. The consequence is not just a statistic on a crash report, it is the loss of experienced pilots like Captain Lin Po Yi, whose 2026 crash reignited this debate. The lesson here for the survival-minded viewer is critical. Technology is a double-edged sword. Upgrading a platform without upgrading its foundational systems creates a critical vulnerability. You cannot bolt 21st century software onto 20th century hardware and expect reliability. The F-16 proves that an advanced capability without a reliable safety system is not a tactical advantage, it is a liability. The story doesn't end when the pilot pulls the handle. For a channel focused on survival and preparedness, the F-16's Achilles heel extends to the post-ejection environment. In the same January 2026 incident, the pilot successfully ejected over the ocean. He was never found. Subsequent reporting revealed that the Air Force in question had not yet fielded the cold water survival gear necessary to keep a pilot alive in those waters. The equipment was on order, scheduled for delivery years after the crash. The survival radio, in some cases, was found to malfunction in shallow water. This reveals a doctrinal failure as profound as the technical one. We spend millions training a pilot, tens of millions on an aircraft, and then fail to provide the final link in the survival chain. The pilot is expected to fly a jet with a glitching computer, at night over cold water, with a parachute and a radio that may not work. This is the real-world equation of combat preparedness. It is a lesson in the logistics of survival. The most advanced weapon system in the world is useless if the man inside it cannot survive the environment he is forced to operate in. The geopolitical consequences are obvious. When you lose an aircraft, you lose a platform. When you lose a pilot, you lose decades of institutional knowledge and training. In a high-stakes confrontation, those losses are unsustainable. The F-16 is not a failure. It is a testament to what happens when a brilliant idea meets the brutal reality of bureaucratic compromise and the relentless pressure to evolve. But its history offers us a warning. The Achilles heel is not just a missing computer or a glitchy software update. It is the systemic risk that accumulates when we push a platform past its design limits, without fully addressing the foundational flaws. We see a pattern. A high-performance machine with a higher than acceptable accident rate, operating in environments its pilots are not equipped to survive, flying on software that cannot be trusted in the dark. For the military historian, it is a case study in the law of unintended consequences. For the survivalist, it is a stark reminder that your equipment is only as strong as its weakest component. Matri Ginstein, Atendis Enstaunenanen, and Ronze Destein, Dap den Staden, and Stein den Stanstai. That component is often not the metal, but the invisible lines of code, the missing piece of gear, and the bureaucratic delays that leave good people in harm's way. Understanding these overlooked stories isn't about tearing down a legend. It's about understanding the real cost of air power and the true nature of the risks we ask a few to take for the many. If you value this kind of in-depth historical analysis, and you want to understand not just what happened, but why it matters, make sure you subscribe to War Machiner. Share this video with someone who needs to see the full picture. We don't do surface level here, we dig deeper.